Hey everybody, it's been a while. We have solving quadratics by taking the square root. So we actually did this on the 10th, so this is last week from the time I'm making this video, but it's just if you see one x term in a quadratic, x squared means there's a quadratic, it's a quadratic. So this only has one x term. It means I can solve it like old school solving, get x by itself. So I did -2, or I had -2, so I added 2 to get rid of it. But the way to undo a squared sign is to take the square root. And if you take the square root of a square, you can see I canceled those. I tried to draw a line through them, canceling them. So square root one side, you square root the other side. Now, the square root of 16, most people would say just 4. But if you think about it, a square root means what times itself gets me 16. Well, 4 times itself gets me 16. But also 2 negatives equal a positive, so -4 times itself gets me 16. So I wrote it as plus or minus 4. And here's the steps over here. Get x squared alone, square root both sides, square root gives 2 answers. So this was a U try. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. And then sometimes you have to simplify. These look a little more complicated, but I'll kind of go through it. So first we're going to solve. I undid the +6 with -6. Then I divide by 3. Got to x squared equals 80, and I square rooted it. Now, x squared equals 80, or square root of 80 is not a good number. Like I tried plugging in my calculator, it gets this gross decimal. The good numbers, in fact, I'll even write them down here. You got 1, that's 1 times 1, that's 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared, 36, 49. We're going to run out of space pretty soon, but like that's 7, 8 times 8 is 64. That's all the perfect squares up to 100 right there. So you kind of look like, okay, does 80 divide by any perfect squares? So, oh yeah, we do have to have our plus and minus answers. So I did that. But then I had to simplify it. And the way I did that was I looked at it up here, simplify square root of 80. It's called irrational, it has like gross decimal. So I think, okay, does 80 divide by a perfect square? I want the biggest perfect square that divides 80. I saw it was 16. So 80 divided by 16 is 5, so that means 16 times 5 equals 80. So I split it up. And the square root of 16 is a whole number. The square root of 5 we're just stuck with forever. So, well, I can't fix the square root of 80 completely. I can definitely make it a little better if I can get a perfect square out of there to square root it. So I just look for the biggest one of those that divides out of it, and we got it. Last U try back here. It's another simplifying one. So if you want to pause it and jot that example down in your notes or something, or see if you can pull it off and then check it, I would love it. Talk to you next time.